Good morning. Hey, you guys. Hello. Gosh, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Just another beautiful day in the neighborhood. So, I was chatting with a man yesterday, and you know, a successful fella by our worldly terms, and engineer, geologist, or something, and suffering with a bit of an addiction, and has been around the 12 steps for a while, and a smart fella, and he said to me, "Well, I don't, I can't do the 12 steps because I don't believe in God," and which I always find hilarious. You know, because pride and ego, says no, and in the face of complete destruction, he's living in his son's basement, and lost his family, and you know, saying no, and I don't believe in God, and so we talked for a few minutes, and I just felt it all start to melt as we chatted, because you know we have this concept often of a separate entity, something that was sold to us as a child. That you know, I mean, literally, we none of us, we all kind of make fun of the idea of a guy with a big beard up in the sky, watching over everybody. That was an image that was given to us in Sunday school. Some of us that went, and yes, we've let go of that, but we've hung on to this separateness. We thought, I am here and God is out there, and I don't get it. And so I shared with them, and we talked about the possibility that if there was something, a universal intelligence, that it was not limited to some separate space from you or me, and it was like he listened quite intently, and because there was this part of him that wants to experience that, and we made some great headway. It was amazing. It was like, oh, okay, you know, because he didn't even realize, he hadn't even examined his beliefs or his objection, and he just knew that it wasn't something that he had thought it was before. So that meant there was no God. So anyway, he moved. Big day yesterday. Another young fella, you know, really in the throes of addiction, and probably, chronic. There's no question, chronic, and would I would say would be dead within, possibly a week or 2 weeks, and desperately waking up to that fact and becoming willing to do whatever needed to be done, really realizing that, the drug and the alcohol just wasn't, it had to go. And his willingness yesterday to move was amazing, and to reach out and to rely on a power greater than himself. Beautiful, beautiful. So the thing that I keep sharing, I guess, is that, not I guess, the thing that I keep sharing is that we're not looking, to have a spiritual experience that's a belief. You know, I believe, and this is an example, I believe, that people climb to the top of Mount Everest. I've seen pictures, I've seen video, I've known people who've done it, but I haven't experienced it. So I haven't been to the top of Mount Everest. I don't know it in my being. And this is the kind of thing that for a lot of folks, they kind of have the ability to live on a belief in a higher power and experience of God, having not experienced it. And in the 12 steps of AA, the 12 steps we talk about, in the 12th step, it says, having had an experience, a spiritual experience, as the result of these steps, as the result of these steps. That's what they're all about. So those steps will actually bring you to that. It's a fact. They'll bring you to that experience. So it isn't a belief. It's a knowing. Like, have you been to the top of the mountain? Then you know what it means and feels like to have been to the top of the mountain. That's what happens with the 12 steps. It's an experience. It's amazing. And then, we begin to act in a different way. We begin to live in a different way. We're not fretting over decisions because we're in a flow. We recognize that we're part of a one. We're part of the whole. And, we act in love because love and gratitude are what's in, are that whole. And so it's amazing. I don't know. Living it is amazing. Less worry, no worry, actually. Just like, and when the mind comes up with, but what about this? And because it does, it's still in there. Then it just disappears. It's gone. The fear leaves. I'll tell you that. That's a fact. So if you're sometimes waking up in the morning and you're in fear, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? And you have fear. Recognize that you do not have to live that way. You do not have to live in fear. That's right. Anxiety, bullshit. There is a way out. I'm telling you, there is a way out. And so we want to bust you out. We're jailbreakers. Get you out of the jail of your mind, right? If you're living in depression and fear, there is a way out. And yeah, there is a way out. There was a beautiful article written yesterday. I posted it out of Stanford. Some doctor done a survey, a huge survey, like a huge global, all ages, all backgrounds type of a survey on freedom from addiction and alcoholism. And it talked about the Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps, as opposed to therapy. And that he said the spiritual solution far outweighed the therapeutic solution. So I'm not saying that therapy isn't helpful or that it can't be helpful, but there is a quick way. There's a quick way. There's an awakening way, and it's like the freedom way. Yeah, it's not working with the mind. It's working beyond the mind. Yes. So trust me. Trust us all. It works, and often the difficulty is because it has to kind of go through the mind in a way, and the mind says no. And the mind would rather kill you than give up control. So, anyway, it's possible. Freedom. And stay close to it, as you start to grasp it and you start to see it. And, wow, there is freedom. Stay close to it, because it says, in our book, we rest on our laurels and we're screwed. And so we can't go on yesterday's action. We get up in the morning, we do our prayer, right? Meditation, stay close to step 11, and every day we're walking in that light, and it's not some mystical religious experience. It's a really our natural experience. We are that. It's our natural experience, and fear has robbed us of it. That's right. Fear has robbed us of it. So, freedom from fear, baby. October 3rd, thought for the day. I love reading this little book. This little book is a 24-hour day book. It was written in 1954. It's a beautiful little book, that's, I like reading it for you guys. For me, I get to read it for me every day. We do it here. Hey, Jason. Good morning, brother friend. I hope you're feeling well this morning. I was just talking about, ego, denial of our relationship with God. Ring any bells? It's cunning and baffling and powerful. It sneaks in there and robs you of your freedom. Yeah. Okay, here we go. October 3rd. Isn't it October 3rd? I think so. Thought for the day. How, it says, do I talk with a new prospect? So it's somebody that's coming new into Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or CA or GA or SA or OA or all the A's. Am I always trying to dominate the conversation? Do I lay down the law and tell the prospect that what he will have to do? Do I judge him privately and feel that he has small chance of making the program? Do I belittle him to myself? Or am I willing to bare my soul so as to get him talking about himself? And then, am I willing to be a good listener, not interrupting, but hearing him out to the end? Do I feel deeply that he is my brother? Hey, brother. Yes. Will I do all I can to help him along the path to sobriety, to a relationship with God? You bet. That is the deal. Beautifully said. Meditation for the day. The work of righteousness. Now, in 1954, they used the word righteousness. I don't think we use it very much anymore. We should look it up, see exactly what they meant. The work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness shall be quietness and assurance forever. Okay, I call it being here now. Be here now, righteousness shall be peace. Stillness shall be quietness and assurance forever. Only, it says, when the soul attains this calm, this stillness, I love it, can there be true spiritual work done, and the mind and soul and body be strong to conquer and bear all things. Peace is the result of righteousness, or presence. Righteousness and presence. Yeah, awareness, consciousness. I think that's how he's using the word. There's no peace in wrongdoing, but if we live the way God wants us to live, quietness and assurance follow. Assurance is that calm born of a deep certainty of God's strength available to us. God's strength available to us, and in his power. Let's try that again. Assurance is that calmness born of a deep certainty of God's strength available to us. God's strength available to us, and in his power to love and guard us from all harm and wrongdoing. I mean, that's the deal. Once we experience the one, the nowness, the one, the fear just goes away, because we know that we can't actually be harmed here. We can't. We're beyond being harmed. I mean, shit may happen, but it won't matter. We're one with the moment. It's beautiful. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may attain a state of calm, of true calmness. I pray that I live in quietness and peace. Yes, baby. So that's it this morning, pretty much. I want to tell you again that we're going to do this next week. So I'm going to continue doing this reading in the morning because I really love doing this. But we're going to read this book. It is a amazing book. It has words in it. It has words in it. We're going to read the words, but what it has beyond the words, Hawkins talks about. He says this book vibrates at over 900 in his scale of 1,000, David Hawkins. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look up Dr. David Hawkins and read his some of his stuff. He's amazing. Okay, this translation was done by Stephen Mitchell. Get yourself a copy. Go out this weekend and get it at Chapters or at a bookstore. It's an amazing book. Stephen Mitchell, A Bhagavad Gita. Gosh, I think I've had this book for a long time. So I only paid $9 for it. It says on the back. So beautiful. And some, I think some awakenings will, stuff like this, teachings, and to help with the awakening process. Help us to see past the distractions of the moment. People are saying, wake up to what's going on outside of us. And I'm saying, wake up to who we are now. And the outside will be lifted up. As we're lifted up, the whole world is lifted up. So we do make a difference. If you're concerned about your community, if you're concerned about the planet, then do your work. Awaken. Yes. And it lifts everything. Trust me, it does. It's the way it is. Okay. Love you guys. Chat soon. Chi Jason.